This episode is brought to you by Indeed. Stop waiting around for the perfect candidate. Instead, use Indeed sponsored jobs to find the right people with the right skills fast. It's a simple way to make sure your listing is the first candidates see. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs have 4 times more applicants than non-sponsored jobs. So go build your dream team today with Indeed. Get a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
Let's be completely honest. Are you happy with your job? The fact is, a huge number of people can't say yes to that. Too many of us are stuck in a job we've outgrown or one we never really wanted in the first place. But we stick it out and we give reasons like, what if the next move is worse? And I've put years into this place. And maybe the most common one, isn't everyone miserable at work? But there's a difference between reasons for staying and excuses for not leaving. It's time to get unstuck. It's time for Strawberry.me. They match you with a certified career coach who helps you get from where you are to where you want to be, either at your existing job or by helping you find a new one. Your coach helps clarify your goals, creates a plan, and keeps you accountable along the way. Go to strawberry.me/career and get 50% off your first coaching session. That's strawberry.me/career.
You're listening to Achtung, Millwall, broadcasting from the beautiful South Birmingham. Accept no substitute.
Hello, good morning and welcome, dear listeners. Welcome to Achtung, Millwall. My name is Nick Hart. This is actually part 2 of the show that I put out yesterday, the voicemail show. We have the balance of quite a few voicemails sent in to us by our contributors. Big thank you to everyone that contributes to the show. I really appreciate it. And I like, if I can, to give a kind of as much of a personal reaction as is possible. I ran out of time a little bit yesterday for various reasons, so I'm doing an extra bonus edition today relating to Saturday's, of course, disappointing, to say the least, defeat at home to Portsmouth. Was it a wake-up call? Was it bad day at the office? Is there a certain lack of vavavoom as a result of changes made to the starting 11? I don't know. We do need to sort things out quickly. We have a huge game tomorrow night at the Den at home to Birmingham City, and I was keen to get the remainder of the voice notes sent in following the Portsmouth loss out ASAP. So without further ado, dear listeners, I'm going to take us away with the very first message, which is from Aussie Dave out there in Australia.
Nick, Aussie Dave, after that X-rated horror show against Pompey, who thoroughly deserved to win. I hope I get over it soon. Got 4 points to make. No particular order. Number 1, I think this game and a few recent games, we've looked a bit leggy. I don't know why, one game a week, and compared with Pompey, they played midweek, had to come up to London with Charlton. They had quite a few injuries. So I was trying to think, why do we look like that? And I wonder if the pressure's getting to the players and dizzy heights of playoff possibilities. So, that's a conundrum. Number 2, Alex Neil's tactics. Love him. We all love him. He'll know more than I'll ever will. But again, sometimes he does some questionable stuff. I thought first was, you got the feeling he was out-coached. And particularly our press, it was sort of like a half press. It wasn't really. And I thought from there, Pompey could build up and look quite confident coming through. But we couldn't really put the pressure. And you look at the press they did on our centre defenders. That was aggressive right to the end. So I would have thought we should have done that. A couple of other tactics. We still over-rely on Femi. And rather than get it the other side. And that was another intriguing tactical thing. Even though Watson was technically on the wing, a lot of times he was drifting in and you saw Negley there. So I wasn't quite sure who was trying to be on the wing there. And finally, I still think we continually play Ivanovic the wrong way. Just pumping it up to him is an absolute waste of time. Coburn, fine. And I think he should be coming up to the halfway line and give us some play through the centre rather than rely on Femi. So, tactics. Number 3, players. The good and not so good. Obviously, most players had a crap game yesterday. My man of the match was either Mitchell or Taylor. A couple of players who really had one of their worst games was first Crammer, That's been a few times this season now where a winger has taken him to the cleaners, even though Ali did it yesterday. He was playing for Luton at Christmas. He basically went past him every time. And I just think he's one of these players that does look leggy. But can we drop him? We really need him. Maybe the Preston game away. Another player who probably had their worst game of the season was Doughty. Again, he's looked leggy, but I don't know why. He's playing some full games now. All a conundrum. And the final player is Femi. He still provides all the promise. We lost without him. The last few games, he's still had this greedy tendency and seems to ignore Crammer, particularly the first half. He's probably trying to think he's got to help this team get out of a mire of a poor performance. But, another slightly unsatisfactory game from Femi. On the good side, I think maybe the three players we've brought in. Patterson looks solid, no stuff-ups. Watson showed glimpses, and let's see where that goes. And finally, Ballon. I thought he looked class when he came on. I know everybody else was a bit tired because it was about 60, 70 minutes, whatever. But he looked very good, and I would have thought he's got to be a shoo-in for the Birmingham game. Fourth and final point, and this is quite a bigger picture one. How good are we really? I know we all think, we're going to should make the playoffs, blah, blah, blah. You look at the last four games. Pompey, enough said. Wednesday, really, we just about got over the line there with a bottom team that everybody else is beaten relatively easy. The game before that, Wrexham, lovely win, 2-0, but I thought that was a bit of a smash and grab, and we probably didn't play that well, except in a couple of purple patches. And the game before that, Sheffield United at home, who had three key players missing. We were at home, and I think we could have lost that as well. So I think we're going to go all the way back to Charlton, 5 games, to say, yeah, we had to put a decent performance in. So that's a worry over a consistent period of time. On to Birmingham, that's clearly a must-not-lose game. I'll be happy with a draw at the present moment. I'm not getting despondent despite the negative tone of this, and we're still in a fantastic position. So, come on, you Lions.
Fantastic stuff. As always, Dave, as always, mate, thank you very much for that. You asked some very pertinent questions, make some very good points. Merv and I yesterday, in fact, Merv posted a meme of Corporal Jones out of Dad's Army for all you older listeners, with the old don't panic meme, catchphrase, whatever you want to call it. I'm very much inclined to not panicking. Dave's just made a good point. We haven't looked brilliant for a few games now. And Saturday's game certainly was a wake-up call, a bit of a splash of cold water after all the heady talk of top 2. I know I contributed to it. I got carried away. But that's the essence of being a Millwall fan, dear listeners. You do get a bit carried away from time to time. I certainly have in recent times. How good are we, Dave asks, and it's a good question. I think Alex Neil actually answered it quite well in the post-match interview with Mill TV on Saturday. I think he made the point, if I remember it's that one rightly, that unless we are really on it, unless we are playing, with all 8 cylinders firing like a Rolls-Royce Merlin engine, then we're going to be up against it, because this is a tough league. When we are firing on all cylinders, when we are pulling together, and everything is tickety-boo, we're pretty good. We're not brilliant. We're not, the Holland team of 1974, Johan Cruyff era, nor Brazil and all that kind of stuff. We are pretty good when we pull together and tug in the same direction. That's the only thing that bothered me a little bit. I mean, I know that Dave said about Patterson coming in. I was just a bit bothered about the disruption that causes, because I could see no great reason, in truth, for dropping Max Crocombe. I know he made the error at Sheffield Wednesday, but that was one error. He also made some good saves up there, and across previous games, really. He's no Gordon Banks. He is a good goalkeeper, but he's not top tier. But, and this is my point, if you make, if you drop players for no apparent reason, then it suddenly becomes destabilising within the team. There has to be logic. There must be structure. players that get dropped or passed over for other players must see that they are decidedly better than they are, in my opinion. Anything else destroys team spirit. And I just thought, Saturday, I just wondered whether we were looking a little bit, I don't know, at cross purposes with each other. The Femi point that Dave makes, saying, I think for the impact of the bids that were apparently made for him during the transfer window, have clearly got inside his head, in my opinion. I mean, I'm saying clear. I don't know the man, and all I'm doing is looking on from a distance, same as you, dear listeners, I dare say. But I just put myself in his football boots, and if I think that I could have had a slice of life-changing money for myself and my family, he's got a young family now, and then for reasons that you don't control, and you can talk about contractual reasons and that's football and so on, but it would still get inside my head not to have had a slice of the 15 to 20 million pound action that was going to go down. So I think it would get inside anyone's head. Would it get inside your head, dear listeners, or would you just shrug it off? I don't think many of us would do. Otherwise, I can't really argue with Dave's points. I do think that we are not using Ivanovic to his best advantage. There was a set piece shot by Doughty, who I agree didn't play well in the first half. Free kick just on the danger zone of the right side of the goal, and I think Doughty pulled rank over a younger man there, when I would have left it to Ivanovic, because he's shown real talent with some of those dead balls in the past, and we haven't seen that for a while from him. And that when I was sailing over the bar, like a kite that's been let loose from its piece of string, flying off, and that was a waste. We are wasting, I think, the talent that Ivanovic does have, and we're using him as a target battering ram, which is not going to be his forte, is it? So no, good stuff there from Aussie Dave. Big thank you to Dave. Let's have a listen now to Hassan, another one of my favourite contributors. Hassan.
Hello Nick, it's Hassan here. Well, that was a bit of a body blow, wasn't it, yesterday? To be honest, I've only seen highlights. I missed the game, couldn't get to it. But by all accounts, it sounds like a thoroughly deserved win for Portsmouth. And it sounds like our players didn't turn up. Again, I would like to say, from what I've seen and from what I've been reading, again, key players just below par. Again, last week at Sheffield Wednesday, we didn't play particularly well, and a lot of our key players then didn't turn up, and it sounds like they've still got a bit of bad playing flu, for lack of a better term. So Alex Neil rolled the dice and dropped Crocombe for Patterson, which I still think is a brave decision. We're third in the league and we've been consistent with that said goalkeeper. I know he's made a few mistakes here and there, but overall he's been pretty solid. Do I think that the change of goalkeeper contributed to us conceding 3 goals? I'm going to say no, but there were moments from which I've seen where it looks as though, if someone actually mentioned it online, I'm going to steal what they tweeted, and it looked like the defence were playing with Stephen Bender again. Bit of indecision, bit of almost like a bit jittery, The first goal summed it up, really. Cooper does well to hold off the runner, and Doughty and Taylor just looking at each other dumbfounded. No one takes control of the situation. Guy breaks through. Patterson, again, people are going to argue in the comments most likely, but could have done better with the save. He palms it out, but it's straight to the player. But it's credit to the goal scorer. Still had a lot of work to do to put it in the roof of the net from a tight angle. We get another disappointing goal in. Kramer got absolutely roasted down one side, and maybe now it's teams have worked us out. Kill our right hand side, going forward and going back, and we can't do anything. You'd hope the left hand side would step up a gear, but as I said, Doughty's been below par for the last couple of games now, if you ask me, going forward and defending. I don't know what's happened to him. Tommy Watson came in for his debut. Again, I can't comment on his performance as I didn't see the whole game. I would like to have thought that he was influential, but no one's really come out and said anything great or bad for that matter. We get a goal back, decent goal from Dinor, and then we let in another poor goal. But we need to shed this quickly, this defeat, because the game on Wednesday night against Birmingham, their tails are up now. They made some very good acquisitions in January. They've always been a dangerous team, I believe, this season. They were pumped us 4-0, and if we are still feeling sorry for ourselves and licking our wounds, we could be in for a very, very tough night on Wednesday night. And if we're serious about being in the top three and in the playoffs and maybe more, we need to put this behind us quickly. A lot of people are calling out Casper Dinor's post-match interview, and he actually used the term Portsmouth wanted it more than us. Now, for the player to come out and say that, it's very questionable. Sometimes you hear the manager say that, but for a player, it's like, come on, you're on the pitch. You're telling me that your teammates, couldn't get themselves together to get them up for the game, We're in a great position. The only good bit of fortune to take out of yesterday was everyone else around us seemed to have an off day as well. Hull, Ipswich, even Middlesbrough dropped 2 points to Oxford. And, this is where mentality comes into it. Now look at Coventry, for example. They were against the ropes. They've been dropping points. They lost their lead at the top. In the space of a week, they won 2 on the bounce, and they've pulled away from Middlesbrough. Now everyone's looking at Middlesbrough again as the bottle jobs, maybe. So it's all about mentality. And another comment I want to make, Nick, before I wrap up, no player is undroppable in this side. I think there's a lot of players who think that, you know what, my position's absolutely fine. I'm looking at players like Doughty. I'm looking at players like even Kramer. He's set himself a high bar through his performances this season. And the last few games, he's not hit those. He's been good, but he's not hit those high levels that he's set for himself. And as a team, we haven't replicated the performances of Watford away, Coventry away, and Charlton at home. We haven't replicated them. We've gone backwards, if anything. Is it a combination of tiredness? Is it the fact that teams have sussed us out? So I like to think against Birmingham, we either play a different system with different personnel. I like to see Sturridge coming for Doughty. He looks done for me in terms of he needs a rest or he needs a rest out the side. I'd bring Sturridge in. I would consider bringing Bannon in, and unfortunately, you're going to have to drop one of Billy or Casper. Even I love them both; they're proper Millwall players. But Bannon can't play in a 10, and supposedly Bannon was brought in to win us games of football. At this moment in time, we obviously it's one defeat. I don't want to be too OTT about it, but we need to keep winning games of football, and you need people out there who are going to do that. And maybe just freshen it up a little bit and just see what happens. Because the question is at the moment, where does Bannon fit in this side? Deep line midfielder is probably the best place. So I would consider just, end of day squad rotation. All the best teams do it. Drop out one of Billy or Casper. Personally, I'll drop out Casper just because Billy, he's got more legs and a bit more of an engine on him in that middle of the park to break things up a little bit. And just put Bannon there, just see what happens. Give him, 45 minutes to an hour, see what happens against Birmingham. I'll bring Coburn. I think Coburn was ill from what I understood. So hopefully he will come back in time for the game against Birmingham. Otherwise, let's try and stay positive. We're still in a good position and there's still a lot of football to play. There's going to be this is a roller coaster we're on at the moment. The roller coaster has just taken a bit of a dip, but eventually it will come back up, mate. So let's keep our chin up and move on forward. Cheers, mate.
Great stuff there from Hassan. No player is undroppable. I absolutely agree with you there, Hassan. Doughty didn't look on it at all. I mean, to be fair, nobody in the side looked brilliant. Billy gives you energy and effort, and the likes of Macaulay, Langstaff when he came on, will give you that industry. I mean, there's no real substitute for industry, because the alternative is that you get some players that just looked rather aimless. In truth, I thought it wasn't Doughty's best game. Kramer, who's been a revelation this season, had a torrid time against their winger. The 27 and the 47 both caused us problems in fairness on both sides of the park. I think pressure is a thing. Hassan mentions the other results on Saturday, Hull and Borough and others falling short, and I think the way I look at it is that all of the players in the Championship are for the most part guys that dream of getting into the Premier League, which looks like the shining city on a hill, doesn't it, full of riches and gold. off in the distance, almost untouchable. And they're going to get close to it. We're getting close to it. We have it within our abilities to do it. But the thought of all of the glory and the riches and the glitter starts to cause you to wobble. Your knees start to tremble, and I think that's gone across a few sides. It's going the glory will belong to those that can actually control themselves, keep it focused, win games by any means necessary, as we have done recently. Scratched and carved out goals from coming in off of players' backsides and own goals, all this kind of thing. And to borrow the cliche that I hated yesterday when I was talking to Merv, it is a fine margin sport. There was a chance in the first half for Femi when he broke down the right and put a cross in that on another day would have gone into the net. Often would have gone into the net. It didn't. It flicked into the arms of the goalkeeper, and the header that we've mentioned a few times from Jake that would have put us 1-0 ahead if that had gone anywhere other than straight at the goalkeeper, free header. So, fine margins, I hate that phrase. But yeah, I mean, otherwise, Tommy Watson, I like the look of him. He didn't do anything earth-shattering on Saturday, but he does at least look the part, in my opinion. As for Casper's wanted it more line, I mean, I've seen all the comments online, dear listeners. Casper was oddly voted man of the match, and I thought that was a bit of a strange decision within the inner sanctum of a club 1885 where I was on Saturday, and he looked very sheepish when he came in to collect his bottle of champagnes on the back end of a 3-1 shellacking. I thought they played well, Pompey, and deserved it, as Hassan has said. He didn't look himself. Now, why that is, I don't know. I can only speculate. My personal theory is that random changes to a winning team doesn't reinforce cohesion and team spirit, and for that, Patterson I didn't think looked any better than Max Crocombe based on the one time I've seen him on Saturday. So for him to be parachuted into the team, so to speak, just lacked logic, and that would, I think, erode team spirit. That's my theory. There we are. We didn't look any better than when we had Stephen Bender, as Hassan has said, or as the third parties on X have said. Let's leave it there. We're going to take a very short break, and then we're going to come back with back-to-back Bobby T. Stay tuned, dear listeners.
Achtung, Millwall.
Hi, Bobby T here. Look, Nick, all I'm going to say is basically Wednesday's going to be a shit show and they're not going to turn up. Of course, we want a reaction. I think it's a cup final now because every game is a cup final, our home games, and we've just gone and lost today. So Birmingham, midweek, but I do want to forget the reaction. I want to see changes because I'm not saying don't change your winning side because I'm saying Patterson, and Watson come in. You should have kept Crocombe. But I'm not going to lie to you now. Come on, put Brannigan straight in now. Or Watson started anyway. Sacco, Bangor Williams. My highlight for me, I keep saying, what does he do? Sorry. Anyway, ran over. We got a 7-point gap from Birmingham, so that's on Saturday. And Borough drew. Ipswich lost. We could have closed the gap today. So now Birmingham, I'm not saying Muslim, the Zulus coming down. I'll be ready. Reaction. Alex Neil, change the team. Fucking change that team. Because today, Alfie, Christian, I don't know, didn't want to know. First half was all right. I mean, Cooper, you just switch off, let the ball run in. Patterson saves it and then 1-0. And then Casper, great goal. I can go on forever, man. I'm going home. Fucking fuming. We go again Wednesday. We're not really cemented for the playoffs. Wrexham, now Birmingham. QPR done us a favour today. Bye for now, Bobby T. Achtung Millwall. Great podcast. Even the 1885 show, you're all doing well. But I'm fucking fuming. Good night. Nick, hold on. Bobby T. I don't know the only thing that made me happy today, Chelsea getting a draw and ZM Plymouth getting an equaliser. I don't even like that fucking Dutch mug who left us some money. We got an equaliser. So bye for now, Bobby T. That's it. I just lost for words. Bye for now, Bobby T.
Bob, I feel your pain, mate. It was a frustrating afternoon, to say the least. Changes. We need to find a spark. I mean, it's what I would say back to you, mate. Certainly Saturday we looked a little bit I think others have made the point, a bit leggy, a bit tired. Why? I don't know. Someone online said, on X said, are we overtraining? I don't believe that, listeners. I don't believe that Alex Neil's an overtrainer. I think he wants to, he expects his players to be ready and prepped for Saturday, but I can't believe we're overdoing it in the gym or on the training ground at Calmont Road. Almost certainly we're trying to work on building partnerships. That must involve Barry Bannon. I can't believe we brought Barry Bannon in to sit, largely speaking, on the bench. Now, where does he come in? I think it was Hassan who made that point earlier on. I believe it was Hassan. He comes in my opinion, probably for one or other of Billy or Casper De Norre. Going by Saturday, I think probably Casper's going to be the dropped out of the two. With Billy and in fact I got told off for calling people by players by their first names. Billy Mitchell, not Billy. I've met him, but I don't really know him. But Billy Mitchell and Barry Bannon, energy and artistry together. There was one little sequence of play, and it didn't go anywhere. So some will say, why are you mentioning it? But there was a little kind of bit back and forth ball being played in the air on the volley between Billy Mitchell and Barry Bannon. Made a little move down the right side on Saturday. Quite beautiful to watch. Clearly there are players that may complement each other, and I went with that on Saturday. So will we just get changes? Bob, you calling for changes or changes, as I've written here in the David Bowie style. We have to, because we need to find a spark. There was rather a lack of spirit and a kind of an acceptance of defeat on Saturday. It was a bit galling to see. The brain freeze for the first goal intrigued me as well. Everyone seemed to pause for the opening goal, which was bang after the kickoff. I think everyone was waiting to get a free kick, or a free kick was going to be awarded against Jake Cooper, which would allow everyone to then retreat in good order and defend a long lump forwards, I imagine, for Portsmouth from the halfway line. They weren't reading the script, unfortunately. They carried on playing to the whistle, which is everything that you're taught from schoolboy days onwards. Play to the whistle, chaps. And we didn't do that. So there was a few basic errors. If basic errors can be put right tomorrow, we'll see what the result is against Birmingham. I do think will be difficult opponents, but then again, as we've said, another cliche, they're all difficult in the Championship. But we got to get a grip tomorrow. Now, whether that means players coming in and what level of change, I don't know. I do agree with Bobby. We need to make a few changes just to shake things up. But the main change I'd make would be to bring in Barry Bannon in that deeper, midfield defensive role and see what he can do from there. Big thank you to Bobby T. We're going to play Matt Richards. Just have a listen to Matt.
Nick, Matt Richards called him after that game. Well, that was very bad. Worst performance we've had at home this season. Just never got going at all, did we? Can't remember a period of the game, maybe just before half time, where they put some pressure on, but hardly put any pressure on them, really. Very few chances created. Just general play was sloppy and passing was bad, and yeah, I don't know. I mean, we played. I suppose the last couple of games away, we haven't played amazing. It was a functional performances at both Wrexham and Sheffield Wednesday, and I don't know. You think a week later, they'll be up for it. It's against Portsmouth, big crowd, and it's just almost, I don't know whether it's just a bit of nerves or what, I don't know, but it's a strong team on paper as well. I know Coburn was out, and hopefully he's not out for long, because we really missed him today, because he's our best centre forward. But it's still a strong team on paper when you look at that, and they just didn't deliver at all, which is really bad. And there has to be changes for Wednesday. Barry Bannon's got to start. I mean, for me, he came on for 10 minutes. He's probably man of the match in 10 minutes, because he can actually control and pass the ball, whereas everybody else seems to struggle with that. Alfie Doughty had a bad game. I mean, that first goal was just comical. I mean, I'm not quite sure what Coops was doing, but then all of a sudden, their player just comes in and he had the whole pitch to himself. Patterson made a good save, and the boy finished it well from a tight angle. Second goal, Kramer dived in when he shouldn't have done, and they get down the left, and it's an easy goal. Standing in the middle of the penalty area, scores a goal. And then obviously we get a goal back, and but then they score straight away. It's game over, and we barely threatened after that. Just poor all round, really. There's not much you can say about it. I guess perhaps you're kind of due to have a bad performance at some stage. It's a case of, well, how do we respond to that? What's the performance in the next game? We have to make changes. I don't know what those changes are going to be. Hopefully Coburn will be able to play, because Ivanovic just struggled up front on his own today. I'd play Bannon anywhere. I know people are not quite sure whether to play him as a 10 or midfield. I mean, Billy Mitchell had an awful game today. Everyone had an awful game today, really. But I think Bannon needs to come in. I mean, Watson was tidy, so and it was right he came to off at 6. Clearly, we need to manage his minutes, because we don't want him to get injured. But he looked quite tired. He looked quite dangerous as well. So let's put it behind us. I'm being Mr. Positive. Let's respond to that awful performance today and get 3 points on Wednesday. Lucky enough, the results weren't awful today, but this is why it was lucky we had that bit of an 8-point buffer. Now we need to get that buffer back and get 3 points on Wednesday. So cheers, Nick. Come on, you Lions.
Cheers, Matt. Mr. Positive. We do like to be positive wherever possible on this show, listeners. So that's what we're going to try and do across these editions. It was a very sloppy performance. I make you right, Matt. I don't know why I've written this phrase. I think I'm referring to the pressure of being at the top, the lack of oxygen at the top of Mount Everest. I've written on it. I don't know where that came from, listeners, but I think it alludes to the fact that all of the teams have made this point already on this show. All of the teams, most of them, Coventry and Wrexham apart, seem to have got the collie wobbles suddenly at the top of the table. And I do think it's the fact that at the top of Mount Everest, the air gets very thin, and every step forward becomes an effort. I think there's a touch of that, certainly in this Millwall side. We are strong on paper. I can't argue with the starting 11 on Saturday, Matt. Also, for some reason we do seem to be due a bad performance. The last ones that I found on Mill history, really bad performances, were the home loss to Hull City, 3-1 loss before Christmas, and then that trip to Blackburn where we got beat 2-0. They were back-to-backs. We don't want that. We're starting to get down to cliche time, the business end of the season, close cliche time. So we don't have many games to go to, and as we've said, the air at the top of the mountain, isn't easy. You have to have your oxygen pack on your back. So let's see where we go. Let's play David Liederkramer and then Mike George back to back.
Morning, Nick. David Liederkramer here on Sunday after the very disappointing defeat by Portsmouth yesterday, 3-1. Very poor performance by us all round. We didn't have the intensity that was needed at this level. Portsmouth were much stronger in every aspect. They pressed us well, they had high intensity, and they snuffed out any attacking threat we had with some ease. I think that the loss of Coburn overnight to illness was probably quite a blow. I would have definitely played Bannon with Ivanovic up front as a lone striker, because clearly Ivanovic is not at his best when he is being asked to win aerial tackles and aerial duels all the time. He can do it, but more often than not he struggles, particularly if he's not getting any support from other forwards, and that was certainly the case yesterday. I think that when Bannon came on after 80 minutes, he was probably our best player and showed why we got him in. He really is a skillful player. He can find a pass, and he looked very, very bright. And I was disappointed that we didn't bring him on a lot earlier. The first goal was a shambles. Doughty and Cooper, I don't know what they were doing. Frankly, we should never have conceded. And I think that the central defence itself was at its worst. Kramer had a poor game, and certainly I've seen Taylor play better. So The back four were a poor unit. There's obviously been a lot of talk about whether it was the right thing to replace Crocombe with Patterson. I've seen the goals back. Patterson might have done better with the second, but frankly, I don't think Crocombe would have done any better with any of the 3 goals that Patterson conceded. Whether or not it's the right thing to change side, bringing in Patterson as we did, is a big issue. I think it can affect the sort of the stability at the back, and perhaps the fact that the back four were so poor yesterday might have been because they had a new goalkeeper behind them with whom they hadn't really played very much. But let's hope that that will be remedied in the next few games. I thought Watson was quite good actually yesterday, got a good ovation from the crowd when he was substituted on the hour, and I think he is going to be an important player for us going forward. We've got a very, very difficult game on Wednesday. I think it's going to be tough for us to get a win there, get a win at the Den against Birmingham, who are a good side, playing well with a lot of confidence and have some very good players. They really will be up for it. I think they are 7th with 49 points, so they're only 7 points behind us. So if they can win, they will close that gap, and they are obviously going to really be going for it. So it's going to be a very, very tough game. I think Alex Neil hasn't got a lot wrong this season, but I don't necessarily think his tactics yesterday were that great. I think, as I said, I thought he brought Bannon on too late, and I think that the players, to be honest, let him down and let us down, really. It was a disappointing day, no question about it, but we're going to get them, and we're not going to win every game. And, we've got to accept that there are going to be lows as well as highs, and that was certainly a low. Portsmouth fans got behind their team fantastically, were very loud, very vociferous, and fair play to them. They really helped their team get across the line. Anyway, I think we need to just put that one to bed, and hope that come Wednesday evening we're feeling a lot happier. Come on, you Lions.
Oh dear, what a mess that was. I have to admit that when I saw the team lineup, I was a little bit disturbed. I was surprised that Bannon wasn't in. I was surprised that Coburn was missing. Apparently he was sick. And I was even more surprised to see Patterson in the starting lineup. And those feelings proved correct. It didn't get a lot better. Millwall never really got going against a very motivated Portsmouth. They were well up for it, and basically they bullied us, okay? And, they scored 3 goals. We scored 1, a goal for Casper Denore. So it was a rare performance, or rare poor performance from Millwall. And even rarer goal from Casper Denore. It is very difficult, in actual fact, to point out anyone that had a great game. Billy Mitchell played very well in midfield, and when Bannon did come on eventually, for 10 minutes, he showed us what we were missing. Some very creative midfield passes, and his distribution was superb. But no, not a great day for Millwall, and we are very lucky that other teams in and around the hunt didn't do very well at all either. So focus on Wednesday night when we face Birmingham, and of course we're all looking for a reaction, and I'm sure Alex Neil will be as well. Come on, you Lions. Thank you, Mike. And before Mike there, it was David Liederkramer. Some good points made by both chaps there. It's always galling when you get pushed around at the Den by opponents, listeners. If there's one thing I hate, I don't mind losing, funnily enough. It's not that I don't love it, I don't want it, but I don't mind it if we're given a good account of ourselves. And I felt that we were, as Mike's put it there, bullied. And that's galling. Bullied on the field and outsung off the field, and that is one of the things I've always hated at the Den. So no, it was very disappointing. There was no intensity, as David's put it there. And Pompey was stronger. That's what it all starts and finishes with. Can't argue with any of the points the boys made there. Ivanovic is a battering ram, no good. I've written as my note taking. I should make a career as a shorthand typists. Do they still exist, shorthand typists? The Coburn illness was a shame, let's put it that way. Who knows what that was, but certainly Ivanovic doesn't work as a battering ram striker up front. That's not his game, and we didn't play to what is his game, unfortunately. I do think Brum are a decent side. We're going to face them tomorrow night, and we've got to be on it. There's nowhere to hide, and failure is an easy, we could be easy victims to the kind of collapse of spirit that seemed to me to run through the side like a stick of rock, like Margate runs down the centre of a stick of rock. There was a lack of spirit on Saturday that we can't tolerate. I really hope that Alex Neil finds his tactical nous back again, and also the players find the spine that has been a hallmark of their season, but it wasn't there Saturday. We're going to take a very, very short break, and then we'll come back with Barnsley and Adam Wicks.
Achtung, Millwall.
Hello Nick, it's Barnsley here, just heading back after a game of football, I think. Very, very disappointed. Didn't really get going from the start. I think the last two performances of maybe sort of going into sort of that kind of the way we're playing at the moment, we just look nervous, don't we? We've never been in this situation before where we're, near the top of the league. Normally we're chasing, so maybe that's a psychological thing on the players. I don't know, but today everything was flat. The atmosphere was flat. It was very, very disappointed. I thought, we can't be too critical because the players have got us in this position. So, but it's just disappointing. It really is, because they just didn't look like we had no passage of play. We were actually dominant, and that's not like us at home. And it's, we expect to go for the jugular, but we just didn't. And the goals, I've seen the first one back. My word, they just left it. Absolutely left it. Big call for the goalkeeper coming in. I thought he did all right. Maybe could have a little moan that he could, after the first shot, he sort of turned his back a little bit and fell backwards. But, I thought he'd done all right. Pulled off a weldy for the header. But I think defensively today we were all over the shop. Very, very unlike us. But, that's what happens in these games. They're on a high. They've thrashed Charlton and they've thrashed us. So they've done a double over us, which is, unheard of. But I thought they were very compact, very good. They played when they go down and stop the game at right moments. But they thoroughly deserved the win. I thought we were world second best today. And for Watson done okay. He was up and down, did a couple of really good things. I think he was playing, the plan was to give him 60 minutes, which I think he did okay. But, just Femi Aziz, for me, he's played so well this year. Just not really seeing it the last few games. He seems to be hugging the touchline, but he waits for the ball to come to him. And I really think that he should go at the ball and be on the pace and on the front foot. But didn't really do that today, did he? And him and Crammer getting in each other's way sometimes, and little balls in behind, and Crammer not reading it, overhit balls. So, right side it's been all fantastic all season, and today maybe teams are wising up to us a little bit. But they done a job on us today, and we were poor, to say the least. But good thing about this, we've got another game coming up very, very soon. So just going back to Alex Neil, he's personally, I think the sub should have been a lot quicker. Maybe even to get a goal at 3-1, they're going to be nervous. Even at 2-1, we've got a chance to get back in the game, but we just blew it and shot ourselves in the foot with the defending again. So, but we put this one out of our mind as quickly as we can, and then I think there'll be changes. I think Bannon needs to come in. I think, sorry, I'm bumbling on here, but I think on the bench as well, we've got so many players that are so similar, and to bringing players on, we ain't really going to change it. But we played such a way. There's no plan B. I think Coburn's a big miss today. BFS on his own up there. They defensively they were strong, and they didn't really get him behind him. There's no balls played in behind him. But Yeah, it's a very, very disappointing day. Well, hopefully you enjoyed your day at the posh seats, enjoyed your dinner, and well, you're banned from that now. Anyway, mate, have a nice day off Sunday, and we go again against Birmingham. Another tough game. Well, they all are, but we've got to put this one to bed. See you, mate.
Evening, Nick. I normally hold off leaving a voicemail till the Sunday morning just to gather my thoughts and not sort of knee-jerk react too much. But I think with this one, obviously we're talking about the 3-1 defeat at home to Portsmouth. That's the second time I've now watched Portsmouth beat us 3-1 in the league. I think there's a few questions that need asking. Again, I know I said on my voice note last week, Neil had a big decision to make re Crocombe Patterson, and I wasn't sure. I know Crocombe made a mistake, but I wasn't sure ditching him for Patterson would be the right move. And I say I don't think. Patterson made a couple of saves, but he didn't do anything amazing that Crocombe wouldn't have done. And on the first goal, I mean, obviously the first goal, before you even get to the strike on goal, there's some terrible defending there. But, Patterson did the thing that Crocombe does, where he's just palmed the ball out straight back to the player that scores the goal, which is what Crocombe did last week. So if that's the standard we're judging people on, then I'll expect to see Crocombe back in the team on whenever it is, Tuesday or Wednesday night we're playing Birmingham. So I think you've got to be very careful if you're making decisions based on singular game moments, because they're going to come back and bite you in the arse, I think, pretty quick. And I think this is going to be an instance of that. I think this is the second time now I've just seen Portsmouth, not necessarily a better football team than us, but they have just out-fought us and out-thought us, and they've just played at a higher intensity and wanted it more. And that is totally, for me, as a Millwall fan, 100% unacceptable. You can see it happening once down there. The weather was terrible, whatever. We brushed that one off. But for that to happen at home is not on. And just... that Alfie Doughty might as well have just come out after half time. He's like a Sunday league player with just finishing off his fag and just trundling out onto the pitch and expecting someone else to do the running for him. I mean, what the fuck? The guy, this guy should not be starting for us on Wednesday. Really poor level of, commitment and running. I know he's got quality when the ball's at his feet, but if you've got a winger, you look at that goal back, he had a 10-yard head start on the guy that ran past him to get the ball. And he easily could have run his body across him. He ran the wrong direction. It's absolutely appalling defending. Like, there were so many mistakes in that first goal. Cooper not getting the ball, Doughty not defending properly, then Patterson palming the ball straight back to their forward. And then from there, second goal, Kramer gets absolutely rinsed down the right. And, ball's cut back. It's a good finish. We get back into it, having stunk the whole place out for the second half, get back to 2-1 with a really good finish from Denor. And then within a minute, we can't defend a set piece. And again, I've got to ask the question, would Crocombe have come for the ball on any of those? I haven't seen them back. Maybe he would have done. I don't know. Anyway, very frustrated this evening. I hope Alex Neil has a real hard look at what he's done today. It's hard to criticise because, by and large, he gets things very right in terms of changes, start-ups and what have you. But I feel like he's got it quite wrong today. And hopefully he does, rectify that on Wednesday and we can push onwards. So, as I say, onwards to Birmingham and come on you Lions.
Cheers, Adam, and thanks a million to Barnesy earlier on. I mean, all the points have been made repeatedly across the show, one way and the other. But I do agree with you, Adam, that it's unacceptable. The performance was not acceptable at the Den. We've been pushed around, out everything, And, Alex Neil has performed, the team and the squad with Alex Neil have performed small miracles to get us into third position. And as once again, following Barnes's message I've written, I don't know why I keep writing this, lack of oxygen at the top of Mount Everest. It's going to be my catchphrase now, listeners. There's a lack of oxygen at the top of Mount Everest. There is a pressure to being at the top. But honestly, if you can't handle the heat, get out of the kitchen. There's another cliche for you. And if these players are unable to handle that pressure, and we did see some under par performances to say the least, whether Crocombe or Patterson one would have done better on the first goal, the crucial first goal, I don't know. But if it's a pressure thing across this side, or using that debate with goalkeepers or other positions as excuses, then there's places like Dagenham and Redbridge who are playing in much less pressurised situations, and you can get yourself down there or lower level. Pressure comes with the top, and if these players aspire to be at the top, it won't get any easier. Should by some miracle we get promoted to the Premier League, if we get up there, the pressure certainly doesn't get less. Let's put it that way, listeners. So, Pompey have doubled us. Coventry have doubled us this season. I think we want to make sure no one else doubles us, starting with Birmingham City tomorrow night, because we've been off the boil after what has been a fantastic campaign so far this season. But nobody's immune to criticism. Fans will be criticised if they get it wrong, and so have the players and management. And I think we did get it wrong generally, starting from the top, Alex Neil, all the way through the starting 11 on Saturday. There we are. That's going to be it from me on this show, dear listeners. I'm going to play you out now with a long message from Rob Abbott. Rob, just as a general guide for listeners, I get some messages that are quite long sometimes. I don't like to edit unless someone says something stupid or illegal or libelous. But I always try and play the show out with a long message, just purely because maybe by this stage people have reached a point of saturation. So apologies, Rob, you're the last one, mate, on this occasion. Generally speaking, if people can keep their messages between 2, 3, 4 minutes is fine. But I will play them, but probably put them at the end. So here you are, Rob. You get to play the show out, mate. Big thank you, though, for the contribution. I do appreciate it, all joking aside. Big thank you to everyone for their efforts on this show. It's been a difficult one, and I want to say a big thank you to you, dear listeners. If you're still hanging on in there listening to me waffle, big thank you to you too. We'll be back after tomorrow night's fixture at home to Birmingham. Let's keep our fingers crossed that everything we've spoken about across all these messages doesn't show itself tomorrow. Let's take it away, Rob. Until then, from me, Nick Hart, it's Arrivederci Millwall. Bye for now.
Evening, Nick Hart, Rob Abbott. Just driving home from Dublin Airport after coming across to see Millwall 1, Portsmouth 3. My 10th league game I've made the trips across for this year. Would I say it was the worst performance that I've seen from us this year? No, because I was at Birmingham away when we got beat 4-0, and I was also at Blackburn away when we lost 2-0. Don't worry, I have seen us win 5 of the 10 games, so I'm not that much of a jinx. But today we just weren't on it, were we? We had too many of our main players, I'd call them main players, underperformed, and then that as a collective led to a pretty poor performance, and we certainly didn't deserve anything from the game. I think my expression I've used to you all year on sending you voice notes has been there'll be plenty of ups and downs. Well, today was a down, but the beauty of the championship is we have a huge game now on Wednesday to try and put it correct. As for the starting team, I wasn't surprised with the starting team that Alex Neil went with. Whether the goalkeeper decision is right or wrong, I honestly don't know. But look, Alex Neil's brought Patterson in. You can't fault Patterson for any of the 3 goals today, and he actually made a few good saves. For Kramer at right back, probably had his worst game in a Millwall jersey. Taylor, I thought, was okay. Cooper wasn't brilliant. Doherty, I think, had his worst game in a Millwall jersey as of yet. Billy Mitchell was typical Billy Mitchell. He wasn't too bad. He got on the ball a lot. He tried to connect the back line and the forward line, break down the play. Only thing I would say about Billy Mitchell, there's 3 or 4 times where he could have played forward and played a more creative pass, but he opted for the side or back. Casper, I thought, was quite poor, albeit he scored a nice goal. Certainly Pompey dominated that midfield area. They had a guy, Abu Adams, who I think they signed from Derby in January, sort of ran the show. I think he's a local lad. I saw or read on Twitter somewhere that he was from Deptford, but he played well, ran the show. Femi Aziz, I thought, was quite quiet. Didn't get much connection with Kramer today. Not too sure why. A couple of times he could have laid Kramer in. Not in, but down the inside right, but he didn't. Negley, who I believe has probably been our most consistent player since Christmas, mid-December, was very quiet, non-existent. I think his game was summed up in the second half. I think it was Billy actually put a ball wide to him, and then his first touch was not too bad, and then his second touch somehow hit his back heel and he fell over and we lost the ball. Tommy Watson, I was quite impressed with in the first half, but then obviously got withdrawn early in the second half, or early-ish, to try and get Macaulay on. And then the big Serb was non-existent. Did we give him any service? No. Did he contribute in the game at all? No. I thought he was bullied by the Pompey back line. He didn't contribute in holding up the play or connecting the play at all, and looked very poor today. So too many poor performances that resulted in the collective loss. Some subs. I thought Bannon looked very good when he come on, playing deep. Probably got on the ball a lot more than Casper did in his 15-minute cameo. Sturge come on and did well. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Sturge in midweek after Doughty's performance, and especially we got Preston next week as well, so we could have some changes in midweek. Ballo didn't really get involved. Ryan Leonard was Ryan Leonard when he come on at right back. He did okay, but the game was pretty much lost then. I think Coburn was a huge loss today, wasn't he? And I think Alex Neil said he would have started, but he was sick. Absolute huge loss, because he can do some stuff that Ivanovic can't do, and he can outmuscle defenders. He can hold the ball up. He can bring others into play. So he was a big loss. But didn't deserve anything. First half was very even. Patterson made a good save, tip it round the post, and then a comfortable one where it bobbled in front of him, a bit like the one Crocombe spilled last week in the first half. Then what did we have? An Aziz effort that was deflected, good save by their keeper, and a Cooper header. I think Cooper's headed it straight at the keeper. He's probably got to make the keeper do a little bit more than a comfortable save with that one. That was our only real golden chance, though. If that would have gone in, it might have been a different story. But the second half, apart from that goal, I don't think their keepers made a save, and it was just a bad day at the office. Do we press the panic button? No, because if you would have said to us at the start of August, after 33 games, we're still being third. We'd be in third place. We'd be 7 points ahead of 7th. We all would have taken it. Was it a missed opportunity today? Yes, because Middlesbrough only drew, Ipswich lost, Hull lost. It could have put us 3 points effectively behind second, and it could have put us 10 points ahead of 7th, which is a 4-game swing. Now we're only 7 points ahead of 7. I think it was 9 before the start of play, and we're actually playing that 7th place team on Wednesday night, Birmingham. So that's become a huge game now, because if we underperform in that and lose, it's only a 4-point gap, isn't it? And does it become squeaky bum time? But look, it's very rare under Alex Neil that we lose 2 games in a row. So I'm hoping that on Wednesday night we put in a better performance. We do the basics better. We want it a little bit more, and if we do that, hopefully we will get a result. As I just mentioned, I think there might be a few changes. I think Sturge might potentially start. I'd like to see Bannon start a game in that deeper role alongside Mitchell. Casper coming off the bench. And then on Wednesday, I think we might see Langstaff start with Coburn. Maybe try and bring a bit more energy in the press, etc. I'd probably shift Negley wide if that was the case, and then Watson off the bench, because another thing I've said to you a good few times this year, I think benches can win games in the championships. So to have someone like Watson and the big Serb and Casper on the bench to bring on to potentially change the game or see the game out, that we're in a good position. But look, wasn't to be today. Not the end of the world. We didn't deserve to win, and on to Wednesday. Take care, mate.
I know I've said my goodbyes on this show already, listeners. I wanted to interject though just after Rob's message there. All good stuff. Can't disagree with anything you said there, Rob. I just want to tip my hat off to our fans from far-flung places. Rob flies over from Dublin on a fairly regular basis, and there are others from other different places in and around the UK and further afield for that matter, that make such efforts to follow the Lions that it kind of takes my breath away a little bit. So I just wanted to interject my admiration for the efforts that Rob puts in. As he said, there's been to Den, he's been to Blackburn away and the other places he mentioned. So hats off to you, mate, and hats off to all of our fans, wherever you may be around the planet listening to this show. It's Arrivederci Millwall from me, Nick Hart. See you after the Birmingham game.
Achtung, Millwall.
Who do you want to watch?